Hey guys, what's going on today? So I'm going to show you something that I started 2.5 years ago that made a humongous difference in my mindset about saving money when I was young and how to grow my wealth. Now, before we get started, I want you guys to make sure that you are looking at your financial situation. So make sure you have your savings account, right? At least a couple thousand in there for a rainy day. Make sure you guys are setting up a 401k or a Roth IRA, something that you can do either if you are employed or self-employed like me. You can do a Roth IRA, you can set it up. If you're 18, I recommend doing it. If you are under 18 and you want to do it, ask a parent, they can set it up for you. But that's something that can change the trajectory of your financial situation many years down the road. And the longer you invest, the more money you can compound over time. So that's why getting started early is huge. But we're gonna go into today into the Stash app, which is something that I did 2017 on January 1st. I said I want to invest $100 a month, right? So if you don't have $100, look at your finances, because you might find that you go out to the bar, right? Or you spend money on X. Look at your finance, clean that up, and allocate $100 a month. You can scrape up $100, work a couple more hours, and put it into an investment, because if you put it into the bank, it makes nothing, right? You actually lose money over time because inflation goes up, you aren't making money, your money is worth less in the future. Kind of crazy, huh? Not what we were told in school, and that's the problem, is that we're not getting taught these things in school, which is why I'm making this video. I'm passionate about this stuff. This has helped me make moves in my life, and I want to help you guys do the same. So, what you can do is you can start opening up a Stash account. If you have no financial IQ in any of this, which I did when I started, this is something for you. So make sure you guys watch the video, and then you can use the link below. But the bigger thing is it's gonna get you started, and you guys can really start to build your wealth, build your IQ, so that when you are 3 years down the road, which you'll see with me, where I've had great returns, I'm moving on to bigger investment ideas. Thanks guys, make sure you like this, leave a comment, and share this with one friend. This can change lives. But we're gonna go into the Stash app today. So the Stash app, as you can see, I'm gonna use the login here. I had a pretty good successful part here. I started this back in January of 2017, and we're now in August 2019. And what I was doing is I was putting in $200, $300 a month, splitting it up across different allocations in terms of my investments. So what we want to first start here is we can go through and we can really look through different stocks and ETFs. So a stock is basically an individual stock you're buying in a company. So for example, if you like AT&T, you can buy direct AT&T stock. Now an ETF might be, say there's a telecommunications ETF, it might include things like AT&T, Verizon, Sprint, and you might have different, of the whole percent of that ETF, which is electronic traded fund, you might have 30% from Apple, 30% from Sprint, whatever the breakdown would be, and you have to look at that. So I chose to go with a bigger portfolio kind of stock or mutual fund. So a lot of different things here, and when I started, I was looking just to kind of get going with things. So when you start something here, you can go in and you can really look at all the different portfolio makeups. So this right here, if you want to look at an individual investment name, you can look this up right on Google. You can, it's a Vanguard Mega Cap Etf. If you wanted to look at the performance, year-to-date change is 17%. You have since the inception, so since the fund started, last 10 years, last 5 years, and obviously in the last year, it hasn't been doing great. So you have to kind of look at what is your timeline horizon for this investment. When I started this, I was gonna give it a good 2 to 3 years. I wanted to get my fingers wet into it and my toes wet. And now I'm actually moving out of Stash, and I'll show you how to take all your investments and take them out. And I'm putting it more into my Vanguard account, so I'm putting everything in one place. So as you can see here, we have all that. If you want to look and see the individual companies that were in this Vanguard Mega Cap, you could go in there, but typically this is a blue chip, so they're following a lot of the biggest, baddest companies in the US. Another one here, if you're looking down like Life, like Internet Titans, I get in on this way back, and this was a really good one for me. The performance on it was really good return in the last 3 years, as you can see there, but it has been dipping, so just kind of looking at that. But these are all the kind of puts it down there, and once again, you can view the fund website and all that good stuff. Just make sure when you're looking at it, can take a look at the expense ratios, the dividend yields, if that's what you're looking for. So that's what happens. As you can see, over the course of time, my total return was about 13.07%, which is about 100 or almost $1,200 there. So when I was ready, what I was doing, and now that I'm drawing everything out of my stash. Now you ask, why am I doing that? For me, I've built now my portfolio of my other assets, and I'm using a lot of Vanguard, and I have some individual fidelity groups. I know a lot of people like Betterment, and what I was finding was I could lower my expense ratios if I just went and bought directly. I really am a big fan of Vanguard funds if you're a passive investor. Really low expenses, meaning if you have a fund, if the fund carries an expense, and you can find that when you look down at the individual expense ratio, you can click there and that will show you what it is. So some expense ratios are 0.5%, which doesn't seem like a lot, but over the course of that, if you make $1,000 or you have $1,000 in it, that's $50 that they're taking from you every year. Sometimes it's even higher. I've seen upwards in the 0.9%, and that can make a big difference, especially if you don't have a lot in there. So you want to really try and lower that. And I found that the Vanguard funds have really low expense ratios. What we're going to do here is I then went and I had I already sold it, but you would go to your investments and you'd see all the investments down below, and then you could go and individually sell them off, or you could just mass sell all your shares of everything, and then you'd be left with your value. So right now, my cash balance is $10,297.59. My buying power, that basically means your cash balance is what you have in the app and what's yours. Your buying power means sometimes you might have a buying power that's lower than your cash balance, and that just means if you sold some shares off, it takes a couple days for that to kind of hit your buying power or cash balance account. And then your unsettled funds, that's just what, so 2 days ago I sold all this off and I had about $10,000 in unsettled funds. That just means it's kind of in the middle, so I can't use it yet. It's getting sold off and then it's getting dumped into my account. But I opened up today, now my buying power, my cash balance is $10,297.59. So what I'm then gonna do is I'm going to go and I'm gonna transfer my money. I wanna transfer to my linked bank account. So I have available withdrawal $10,000. Now, when I did this earlier, I wanted to have one massive withdrawal. I think it limits you to about $10,000. That's typically not an issue for most, but for me, I'm gonna have to probably do 2 withdrawals. So I'm just gonna do $9,000 for my first one, and I wanna put that, it takes 2 to 3 days. Next withdrawal cash, I wanna confirm my transfer to my Chase account, so I'm gonna take $9,000 out. It's transferring to the bank. What I'm then gonna do is, it's all pending, so we're good there. If you look, it should reflect now that I only have that much left because I transferred the rest out. So I'm just gonna take the rest out here, see if I can do another transfer today. $1297.59, and that's that. I'm gonna withdraw that. And it's gonna take $1. I think it leaves $1 into my account because I have to have that. Now, remember, if you're gonna be transferring out, this is something you have to really look at, because now I have no money in here, right? I had a successful run, and now I'm moving on to bigger, better things. Stash App is a great app for people who want to get into the habits and learn, because I came from really not knowing anything about this, and it really broke it down for me in a very easily digestible manner. So I highly recommend this if you're somebody that wants to get into this. In the long term, I think you can go and find better things if you're really trying to really grow your investments. But for beginners or for young people, this is a perfect way to get integrated into this world, because it allows you to do your research and makes it fun for saving, and it breaks it down in a very easy and digestible way. So if you guys like this, make sure you comment below. Send me any questions you have. Like I said, I am not a financial advisor, but I do hope that you find this video important and helpful. And let's go out there and let's turn our money into money-making vehicles